Today I'm taking a look at the Real Grade Nu Gundam from Mobile Suit Gundam, Char's Counterattack. I just finished building this kit, and this video is split in two main parts. First, I will talk about the model itself, the build experience and my personal expressions. Then I will dive into the Nu Gundam's mobile suit, its role in the move, design and some fun curiosities. At the very end, I will also talk about Pen the pilot, which was the final step of this project. Right away, this kit made a strong impression. The Real Grade Nu Gundam is big, detailed and very solid looking, especially for a 1/144 scale model. Once assembled, it really feels like a small master grade in terms of presence. The proportions are excellent, the surface detail sharp, and the overall look is very close to the anime design, but with a more realistic mechanical style. Overall, the build was very enjoyable and surprisingly easy. The instructions are clear, parts fit well, and I didn't run into any major problems. This is one of those kits where you can relax and enjoy the process without constantly fixing mistakes. That said, there is one area that needs extra attention: the legs. The leg assembly is more complex than the rest of the body, with many more parts and layers. It's not difficult, but you really need to follow the instructions carefully and take your time. Now let's talk about the most well-known issue with this kit, the fin funnels. Yes, they are flimsy. No matter how careful you are, the fin funnels will fall off at some point. This is a very common problem with Real Grade Nu Gundam, and honestly it's something you should expect going in. The fins look amazing when they are all attached, but they don't hold very securely. For display it's fine, but for posing or moving the model, it can be frustrating. This kit uses a lot of stickers. Some of them are simple color corrections and others add small markers and details. They do improve the look of the model, but there are quite a few, so applying them takes time and patience. Personally, I don't mind stickers so much, but if you're not a fan, this is something to keep in mind. Still, once everything is applied, the model looks very sharp and detailed. For this build, I decided to paint and panel line the parts while they are still on sprue before assembly. This helped to keep everything clean and made the process smoother later on. Panel line really brings out the mechanical detail, especially on the inner frame and the armor panels. Even without full painting, this kit already looks great out of the box, but panel lining really takes it to the next level. Now that I have talked about the model itself, let's shift the focus and talk about the Nu Gundam as a mobile suit, where it comes from, why it was built, and what makes it so special in the Gundam universe. The context of Char's counterattack. To understand the Nu Gundam, we must first understand the world it was born into. Mobile Suit Gundam Char's counterattack takes place at the moment when the Universal Center is already exhausted by war. This is not the beginning of a conflict, this is the end of a very long and painful cycle. Humanity expanded into space, hoping to escape Earth's problem, but instead of creating a new future, it recreated the same divisions. Earth became a place of comfort and political power. Space colonies became a place of labor, sacrifice and neglect. Over time, this imbalance created resentment. People living in space began to feel abandoned and exploited. This resentment eventually turned into rebellion, and rebellion turned into war. A history of failure. By the time this move begins, several major wars have already reshaped human civilization. Governments have risen and fallen. Entire colonies have been destroyed. Millions of lives have been lost. The Earth Federation still exists, but it's slow, divided, and deeply bureaucratic. It reacts instead of leading. It tries to maintain peace, but often fails to understand why conflict keeps returning. This failure creates the perfect conditions for someone like Char Aznable to rise again. Char Aznable returned. Char Aznable was once a soldier, then a revolutionary, then a ghost. By the time of Char's counterattack, Char has returned openly as the leader of the new Zeon. Char is no longer hiding behind masks or false names. He's confident, charismatic and fully committed to his beliefs. He believes the art itself is the root of humanity's stagnation. As long as people can retreat to war, they will avoid real change. Char does not see himself as villain, he sees himself as a necessary force. Amuro Ray's position. On the opposite side of this conflict stands Amuro Ray. Amuro is not a politician, he is not a symbol, he is a soldier who has survived too many battles. Amuro understands Char's argument. He understands why people in space are angry, but he refuses to accept mass destruction as a solution. This difference defines the movie. Both men see the same problems, they simply choose different answers. The Art Federation's role. The Art Federation is aware of Char's plans, but reacts slowly. Internal politics, fear of escalation, and overconfidence prevent decisive action. This forced Amuro and his allies to act with limited support. The Nu Gundam itself is delayed because of political hesitation. Even as disaster approaches, the system hesitates. Char's plan revealed. Char's plan is simple, brutal and final. He intends to drop a massive asteroid on Earth. This impact will cause global environment collapse. Earth will no longer be habitable. Humanity will be forced into space. Char believes this is the only way to force evolution. To him, sacrifice is unavoidable. Other characters in motion. While Amuro and Char dominate the story, they are not alone. Bright Noa, now a seasoned commander, struggles with responsibility and doubt. He has watched generations of young pilots suffer under his command. Chan Agi, a young engineer and Amuro's partner, represents hope and belief in the future. Her dedication to the Nu Gundam is both professional and deeply personal. Quest Paraya, a troubled young new type, becomes emotionally attached to Char. She is searching for meaning and recognition, and Char exploits this vulnerability, even if unintentionally. Each of these characters reflects a different response to war. A world moving toward collision. As the movie progresses, everything moves toward an inevitable clash. Diplomatic efforts fail, military maneuvers escalate, personal emotions overflow into combat decisions. The Nu Gundam is completed just in time. The Sazabi is already waiting. This is not a sudden crisis, it is the result of decades of unresolved conflict. Amuro Ray, from child soldier to the pilot of the Nu Gundam. To understand the Nu Gundam, we must understand the man inside the cockpit. Amuro Ray is not just its pilot, he is the reason this machine exists at all. By the time of Char's counterattack, Amuro is no longer the emotional teenager audience first met. He is a veteran of multiple wars shaped by loss, responsibility, and experience that no one his age should ever have endured. Amuro Origins. Amuro began his life as a civilian. He was never meant to be a soldier. He was curious, intelligent, and socially awkward, more comfortable with machines than with people. When war reached him, he was forced to fight simply to survive. That moment changed everything. From the very beginning, Amuro showed exceptional talent as a pilot, but talent did not protect him from fear, guilt, or trauma. The cost of survival. As the wars continued, Amuro survived when many others did not. Friends died, allies disappeared, entire units were wiped out. Each battle added another layer of emotional weight. Amuro learned quickly that victory did not mean happiness. It simply meant living long enough to fight again. By the time of Char's counterattack, Amuro carries this memory silently. One of Amuro's defining traits is his sense of responsibility. He does not fight because he enjoys it. He fights because he believes someone has to. Amuro understands the destruction mobile suits cause. He understands the consequence of every trigger pull. This awareness makes him cautious, restrained, and thoughtful in combat. Amuro is a new type, but he does not romanticize it. To him, hated awareness is not a gift, it's a burden. He constantly feels fear, anger, and despair around him. This makes it impossible for him to detach emotionally from battle. The new Gundam was designed to work with this sensitivity, not suppress it. The new Gundam is built specifically to match Amuro's reflexes and thought patterns. It responds instantly, it moves as he moves, it reacts before conscious thought. For Amuro, this is both empowering and terrifying. The more connected he becomes to the machine, the harder it is to separate himself from the war. Chan Agi plays a quiet but important role in Amuro's life during this period. She is an engineer working on the new Gundam, but her connection to Amuro goes deeper in their work. Chan believes in Amuro, she trusts his judgment and supports him emotionally, even when he pushes people away. Her presence represents the possibility of a future beyond endless fighting. Bright Noa has known Amuro since his early battles. Their relationship has evolved from strict commander and reckless pilot into something closer to mutual respect. Bright understands the toll war has taken on Amuro. He trusts him not because he is powerful, but because he knows Amuro's heart. Bright allows Amuro to operate with a level of autonomy rarely granted to pilots. Amuro's feelings toward Char Aznable are very complex. Char is his greatest enemy, but also someone who understands him better than almost anyone else. Amuro recognizes Char's intelligence, pain, and conviction. He understands why Char is angry, but understanding does not mean agreement. Amuro refuses to accept that mass death is a necessary step toward progress. Throughout the movie, Amuro struggles internally. He questions whether fighting Char is truly the right answer. He wonders if there is another way. But as Char plan unfolds, hesitation becomes impossible. The new Gundam becomes Amuro's final commitment to action. In battle, Amuro is calm and precise. He does not waste movement, he does not fight recklessly. Every decision is calculated, every maneuver serves a purpose. This efficiency reflects his desire to end conflicts quickly, minimizing unnecessary loss. Despite the people around him, Amuro remains emotionally distant. Years of loss have taught him to protect himself by staying reserved. This isolation makes him appear cold at times, but it's a survival mechanism. The new Gundam becomes the only place where he feels fully understood. As the final confrontation approaches, Amuro accepts the possibility that he may not survive. He does not speak dramatically about sacrifice. He simply acts. To Amuro, stopping Char is not about victory, it's about preventing irreversible harm. Amuro Ray represents the human cost of war. He's not a hero untouched by violence. He's a survivor carrying its weight. The new Gundam reflects this maturity. It is powerful but restrained, advanced but purposeful. Together, pilot and machine represent one final attempt to protect humanity from itself. With Amuro Ray at its control, the new Gundam prepares for battle, not driven by anger, not driven by pride, but by responsibility. Char Aznable, Ideology, Trauma and Revolution. To understand the new Gundam, we must also understand its opposite. And that opposite is not just another machine, it is Char Aznable. Char is not simply Amuro's rival, he is the mirror that reflects everything Amuro rejects. Where Amuro chooses restraint, Char chooses force. Where Amuro hopes for gradual change, Char demands immediate action. Char Aznable was born into conflict. His real name, his family history and his childhood were shaped by political struggle long before he ever stepped into a cockpit. Char lost his father at a young age, a man who believed strongly in the future of spaceborne humanity. That loss left Char with anger, confusion and a deep sense of injustice. From that moment on, Char's life became defined by revenge, ideology and purpose. Char is famous for wearing a mask. At first, it served as a disguise, but over time it became something more. The mask allowed Char to separate himself from his emotions. It turned him into a symbol rather than a person. Even when Char no longer needs to hide his identity, the emotional distance remains. As a pilot, Char is exceptionally skilled. He is aggressive, confident and fearless in combat. Unlike Amuro, Char enjoys the act of fighting, not because he loves destruction but because battle gives him clarity. In combat, the world becomes simple. There is a goal, there is an enemy, there is action. Over the years, Char witnessed repeated failures by governments and institutions. Peace treaties collapsed, reforms stalled, promises were broken. To Char, these failures proved that gradual change was impossible. Humanity, in his view, would never willingly abandon Earth. This belief hardened into certainty. Char believes that Earth is holding humanity back. He sees it as a place of comfort that prevents growth. In his mind, as long as Earth exists as a sanctuary, humanity will avoid confronting its future. His solution is extreme, but to Char it is logical. Remove the comfort and evolution becomes unavoidable. By the time of Char's counterattack, Char has become the leader of New Zeal. He is no longer a lone pilot, he is a symbol, commander and a political figure. Many follow him not just out of loyalty but out of desperation. To them, Char represents decisive action in a world paralyzed by fear. Quest's pariah is one of the most tragic figures in the movie. She is a young new type searching for meaning and recognition. Char becomes a powerful presence in her life. He offers validation, attention and purpose. Whether intentionally or not, Char manipulates her vulnerability. Quest believes in Char's vision, even when she does not fully understand the consequence. Char sees Amuro as both a rival and an equal. Amuro is one of the few people Char truly respects. This respect made their conflict deeply personal. Char wants Amuro to understand him, and in some ways he wants Amuro to stop him. This Aznable is the perfect expression of Char's beliefs. It is massive, overwhelming and unapologetically powerful. When the Nu Gundam is refined and controlled, the Aznable dominates through presence alone. It reflects Char's belief that power must be undeniable to force change. Char's plan to drop the asteroid is not impulsive, it is calculated, prepared and deliberate. He understands the scale of destruction it will cause, and he accepts it. To Char, this is not an act of cruelty, it is necessity. Despite his confidence, Char is not free of doubt. His conversations with Amuro reveal hesitation beneath the certainty. He questions whether humanity can change at all. This doubt fuels his urgency. As the final battle nears, Char becomes increasingly isolated. His followers see the leader, Amuro sees the man. The mask, both literal and emotional, begins to crack. Char Aznable is not remembered as a simple villain. He is remembered as a warning of what happens when idealism loses patience. His actions reshape history, even if a failure. The Nu Gundam, technology, psycho frame and purpose. Now that we have talked about Amuro Ray and Char Aznable, it's time to focus on the machine that stands between them. The Nu Gundam is not just a powerful mobile suit, it is the physical result of years of experience, loss and evolution in mobile suit design. Everything the Nu Gundam exists for a reason, not in its weight, not is excessive. Unlike mass-produced mobile suits, the Nu Gundam was never meant for anyone else. It was designed specifically for Amuro Ray. Engineers studied his combat data, his reaction times and his new type sensitivity. The goal was to build a mobile suit that could keep up with his mind. In many ways, the Nu Gundam is less a vehicle and more an extension of Amuro himself. The Nu Gundam was developed under extreme pressure. Char's return and the growing threat of New Zeal left little time for testing or refinement. Political hesitation delayed its completion, resources were limited, the risk of failure was high. Despite this, the Nu Gundam was completed just in time to enter battle. The most revolutionary feature of the Nu Gundam is the Psycho Frame. Unlike earlier Psycho systems, the Psycho Frame is embedded directly into the structure of the mobile suit. This allows the pilot's thoughts and emotion to influence the machine at a fundamental level. The suit responds not only to physical input but to intent. In the hands of a new pipe like Amuro, this creates near-instant reaction. A Psycho Frame is powerful but dangerous. The stronger the emotional state of the pilot, the more unpredictable the system becomes. This is why the Nu Gundam could only be entrusted to someone with exceptional mental control. In the wrong hands, it could become unstable or catastrophic. The Nu Gundam was designed with balance as its core principle. It is fast but not fragile, heavily armored but not slow. Its thrusters allow precise movement in space, enable Amuro to reposition constantly during combat. This mobility reflects Amuro's fighting style, fluid, adaptive, and controlled. The Nu Gundam's weapons are versatile rather than overwhelming. Its beam rifle is powerful but reliable. Its shields combines defense with offensive capability. These weapons are tools, not crutches. Amuro relies more on positioning and awareness than raw power. The most iconic feature on the Nu Gundam is the fin funnel system. These remote weapons are controlled directly through Psycho technology. Unlike traditional funnels, fin funnels can operate both offensively and defensively. They can fire pinch shots, intercept enemy attacks, and even create energy barriers. The fin funnels reflect Amuro's growth as pilot. Early new type weapons focus purely on destruction. The fin funnels introduce protection as a primary function. This shift mirrors Amuro's desire to reduce unnecessary loss of life. One of the Nu Gundam's most striking visual traits is its asymmetry. The fin funnels are mounted on only one side of the suit. This makes the Nu Gundam visually unbalanced but functionally efficient. The design reflects the idea that perfection does not require symmetry. Compared to earlier Gundams, the Nu Gundam feels more mature. It does not rely on experimental gimmicks or overwhelming armor. Every system serves a clear purpose. This maturity reflects the experience of both the designers and the pilot. In battle, the Nu Gundam moves with precision rather than aggression. It reacts instantly to threats. It avoids unnecessary damage. Every movement feels deliberate. This efficiency makes it one of the most effective mobile suits ever deployed. The Nu Gundam responds not only to Amuro's skill, but to his emotional state. This deep connection blurs the line between human and machine. The suit amplifies Amuro's determination, but also his burden. It becomes a reflection of his inner struggle. The Nu Gundam was not built to conquer, it was built to prevent catastrophe. Its ultimate purpose was to stop Char's plan and protect Earth from irreversible destruction. In this role, it succeeds. The Nu Gundam represents the peak of mobile suit technology in time. It stands at the end of an era defined by rivalry and war. After this moment, mobile suit design would change forever. The people around the Nu Gundam, allies, bystanders, and tragic figures. While the story of Char's Counterattack is often remembered as the final duel between Amuro Ray and Char Aznable, the world around them does not stand still. The Nu Gundam does not fight alone. Around it are commanders, engineers, soldiers, and civilians, all trying to survive a conflict that feels far larger than any one person. Bright Noa, the weight of command. Bright Noa has been part of the Universal Centuries War for most of his adult life. By the time of this movie, he is no longer the strict young officer he once was. He is tired but experienced commander. Bright understand the cost of giving orders that send people into battle. He was watched one pilots grow, suffer and die under his command. In Char's counterattack, Bright's role is not to charge forward reckless, but to hold together a fragile operation under enormous pressure. Bright's relationship with Amuro Ray is built on years of shared experience. He trusts Amuro not just because of his skill, but because he knows Amuro's judgment. Bright gives Amuro freedom that few pilots receive. This trust is essential for the new Gundam's effectiveness. At the same time, Bright worries about Amuro. He knows that Amuro tends to shoulder too much responsibility alone. Chan Agi is one of the most important yet often overlooked characters in the movie. She works directly on the new Gundam's development. Chan represents the people who support war efforts without ever stepping into combat. Her role is technical, but deeply personal. She believes in the Amuro's mission and in the new Gundam's purpose. Chan's relationship with Amuro is calm and grounded. She understands his emotional distance, but does not push him to change. Instead, she supports him through action, through preparation, through trust. Her belief in Amuro makes her an emotional anchor and in otherwise chaotic situations. Quest Pariah is one of the most tragic figures in Char's counterattack. She is young, emotionally stable, and searching for meaning. As a new type, she senses the emotions of others intensely, but she lacks the experience to process those feelings. This makes her vulnerable. Char becomes a powerful presence in Quest's life. He listens to her. He acknowledges her abilities. To Quest, this attention feels like understanding. She follows Char, not fully grasping the consequences of his actions. Whether Char intends it or not, Quest becomes a tool in his plans. When Quest enters battle, her actions are driven more by emotion than strategy. She fights impulsively. This makes her dangerous but also fragile. Her presence on the battlefield highlights the cost of involved, unprepared minds in war. Many Federation pilots appear briefly throughout the movie. They are skilled but often overwhelming. Unlike Amuro, most of them do not fully understand the scale of Char's plan. They are fighting a battle without seeing the full picture. This confusion reflects the Federation's larger problem, a lack of clarity and unity. Beyond the pilots and commanders, there are countless civilians affected by the conflict. Space colonies that threaten Earth face annihilation. Most people have no control over what's happening. They can only react. Their helplessness adds urgency to Amuro's mission. Each character in the movie represents a different way of responding to war. Bright represents responsibility and restraint. Chan represents support and belief. Quest represents confusion and vulnerability. Together they create a full picture of a world under strain. The new Gundam is not just Amuro's machine, it carries the hopes of everyone around him. Engineers work tirelessly to complete it. Commanders rely on it as last defense. Civilians depend on it without ever seeing it. This collective dependence gives the new Gundam its emotional weight. As the story progresses, these characters are pulled closer to the final confrontation. Decisions become irreversible, losses accumulate, there is no turning back. The war emotion, battles, escalation and strategy. At this point in the story, the conflict is no longer theoretical. Char's intentions are clear, forces are mobilized and the clock is running out. The war in Char's counterattack does not unfold as a single massive battle. Instead, it advances through a series of movements, reactions, and miscalculations. Each engagement pushes the situation closer to a disaster. One of the defining traits of this conflict is how quickly it escalates. There is no formal declaration of war, no clear beginning. Char's New Zeal acts decisively, while the Earth Federation struggles to respond. This imbalance gives Char an early advantage. New Zeal's strategy is bold and uncompromising. Char understands that hesitation will destroy momentum. His forces move quickly to secure key positions in space, supply routes are established, defense lines are formed, every movement supports the ultimate goal, the asteroid drop. The Earth Federation by contrast is slow to act, political debate delays decisive action, military leaders argue over responsibility and risk. By the time full mobilization begins, New Zealand has already gained ground. This delay forces Federation pilots into defensive positions from the start. Nu Gundam enters the battlefield as a late but critical factor. Its deployment immediately shifts the balance. Unlike other mobile suits, the Nu Gundam is not assigned to standard patrol formation roles. Instead, it is used as a precision response unit. Wherever the situation becomes most dangerous, the Nu Gundam is sent. Amuro does not fight as part of a squad. He operates independently, responds to threats in real time. This flexibility allows him to intercept enemy units before they can execute critical objectives. His presence stabilizes chaotic situations, but it also isolates him. In these engagements, the fin funnels prove their value. Amuro uses them not only to attack, but to control space around him. Enemy units find themselves pressured from multiple angles. The funnels limit escape routes and protect allied forces. This transforms the Nu Gundam into a moving zone of control. Several encounters bring the Nu Gundam into close-range combat. These battles are fast, brutal and unforgiving. There is little room for error. Amuro relies on instinct and experience rather than raw aggression. Every movement is measured. As the fighting intensifies, losses mount on both sides, mobile suits are destroyed, pilots are killed without ceremony, there is no time to mourn. These movements remind the viewer that this is not a heroic war, it's a desperate one. Quest's pariah presence in combat adds unpredictability. Her actions are driven by emotion rather than strategy. Sometimes she achieves surprising success. Other times she creates dangerous situations for both allies and enemies. Her involvement highlights the danger of pushing unprepared minds into war. From the command bridge, Bright Noa faces impossible choice. He must decide where to commit limited forces. Every decision means saving some lives while risking others. He understands that the Nu Gundam cannot be everywhere. This knowledge weighs heavily on him. As New Zealand advances its plan, the battlefield shifts closer to the asteroid itself. Time becomes the enemy. The closer the asteroid moves toward, the fewer options remain. The war becomes less about territory, more about survival. As the situation worsens, Amuro feels the weight of expectation growing heavier. Allies rely on him. Civilians depend on success they will never witness directly. This pressure tests his emotional control. The psycho frame responds to this intensity. At this stage, individual victories begin to lose meaning. Destroying enemy units no longer feels like progress. Everything funnels toward one final objective: stop the asteroid or fail. As forces converge near the asteroid, both sides prepare for the inevitable conclusion. Resources are depleted, pilots are exhausted, there is no retreat left. The Final Confrontation. Amuro, Char, and the end of rivalry. Everything in Char's counterattack leads to this moment. All the wars, the arguments, all the years of unresolved conflict between two people who understand each other too well. The final confrontation between Amuro Ray and Char Aznable is not just the last battle of the movie, it is the end of an era in the Universal Century. When Amuro and Char finally face each other, there are no speeches meant to inspire armies, no declarations of heroism, no belief that this fight will solve everything. Both know exactly what is at stake, and both understand that there may be no future waiting for them afterward. This is not a battle fueled by hatred, it is fueled by inevitability. Amuro enters the final battle exhausted but focused. He has already accepted the possibility that he may not survive. Char enters with absolute resolve. He has committed fully to his plan, knowing it will either change humanity forever or destroy him in the process. Neither man believes the other is evil. That understanding makes the confrontation even heavier. Final battle is raw and personal. Unlike early clashes filled with long-range weapons and large formations, this fight collapses into close quarters combat. The Nu Gundam and Char's mobile suit turn into each other at point-blank range. Weapons are lost, armor shattering, systems fail. The fight becomes less about machines and more about endurance. Throughout the fight, Amuro and Char continue to talk. Their words are not insults, they are arguments that have been ongoing for years. Char insists that humanity will never change unless forced. Amuro insists that forcing change through mass death destroys any meaning behind progress. Neither man fully convinces the other. As new types, Amuro and Char share a level of awareness beyond normal communication. They sense each other's thoughts, doubts, and emotions during the fight. This connection strips away lies and excuses. What remains is honesty. As the duel continues, the larger crisis unfolds around them. The asteroid continues its path outward. Federation forces tries desperately to stop it. Their efforts alone are not enough. Time is running out. Amuro realizes that defeating Char is no longer enough. The greater threat is the disaster approaching Earth. He makes a decision that goes beyond victory. He commits the Nu Gundam fully to stopping the asteroid regardless of the cost. In one of the most powerful moments in Gundam history, the Nu Gundam's psycho frame reacts to something unprecedented. Not just Amuro will, but the collective will of everyone involved. Pilots, soldiers, and civilians. Fear, hope, desperation, and determination converge. The psychofield phenomenon blurs the line between technology and something almost spiritual. Mobile suits glow, energy spreads. The impossible begins to happen. The asteroid slows. Humanity for one brief moment acts together. During this moment, Char witnesses the very thing he believed impossible. Collective action, shared responsibility. He realized too late that humanity may have been capable of change without forced destruction. This realization does not save him. As the energy reaches peak, both Amuro and Char vanish from view. Their final fate is left uncertain. There is no confirmation of victory, no celebration, only silence. When the battle ends, there is no celebration, there is no clear victory. There are no speeches about peace. Space becomes quiet again, but it's not the quiet of resolution. It is the quiet left behind after something important is gone. Amuro Ray and Char Aznable disappear together. At the same moment, their final fate is never shown clearly, and that absence is intentional. Gundam is often remembered for its battles, but Char's counterattack ends by refusing to give simple answers. The rivalry that defined an era does not end with triumph, it ends with disappearance. Amuro and Char are removed from the story because their conflict has reached its limit. There is nothing more they can say to each other. Their disappearances force the world to move forward without them. The Nu Gundam fulfills its purpose in the final moments of the movement. It does not destroy an enemy, it does not conquer territory. It becomes a vessel for collective will. The psycho frame reacts not only to Amuro, but to the thoughts and emotions of everyone involved, pilots, civilians, even enemies. For a brief moment, humanity acts together. The psychofield event is often described as a miracle, but it's not something that can be repeated or controlled. It happens once, under extreme circumstances, and then disappears. This is important. It reminds us that technology alone cannot save humanity. Understanding, empathy, and cooperation are rare, fragile moments. After the asteroid is stopped, the world continues. Governments remain fluid, conflicts do not magically disappear, but something has changed. The idea that force alone can shape the future is challenged. And so is the idea that suffering automatically leads to progress. Char believed suffering would force evolution. Amuro believed understanding could prevent destruction. Neither belief is fully proved right or wrong. The ending suggests the ideals, when pushed too far, consume the people who carry them. Char's Counterattack refers to turning its character into legends. Amuro is not glorified, Char is not redeemed. They are remembered as human beings who made choices under impossible pressure. This grounded approach is one of the reasons the movement remains powerful decades later. Yoshiyuki Tomino and the meaning of the ending. To understand why Char's Counterattack ends the way it does, we need to understand its director, Yoshiyuki Tomino. Tomino has always resisted simple morality or storytelling. He does not believe in clear heroes or violence. His work consistently asks uncomfortable questions. Tomino Gundam stories are shaped by his views on war and human nature. He does not see war as something that creates heroes. He sees it as something that destroys people. In Char's Counterattack, Tomino intentionally avoids a clean resolution because real conflicts rarely end neatly. The disappearance of Amuro and Char reflects this belief. Tomino once stated that he did not want to tell audience what to think. He wanted them to reflect. Should humanity be forced to change? Can people grow without suffering? Is technology a solution or just a mirror? The movie does not answer these questions, it leaves them open. The new Gundam is not just a mobile suit, it is Tomino's statement about restraint. Power does not have to be loud, strength does not have to dominate. The new Gundam's greatest moment is not an attack, but an act of resistance against destruction itself. Char Aznable is not portrayed as evil, he is portrayed as someone who lost patience with humanity. Tomino presents Char as warning about what happens when frustration turns into absolutism, when ideals stop allowing room for individual lives. Amuro Ray represents the cost of constant responsibility. He survives long enough to carry the weight of every decision. His disappearance is not a reward or punishment, it is release. Char's Counterattack was designed as an ending, not just for this character but for a generation of storytelling. It closes a chapter without erasing its consequence. Future stories may continue the timeline, but this rivalry ends here. Nu Gundam stands at the edge of history, silent now, no longer a weapon, no longer a symbol, just a reminder of a moment when humanity came dangerously close to destroying itself and barely stepped back. That's why the Nu Gundams endure, not because of how it fights, but because of what it tried to prevent. To finish this project, I painted the pilot figure, even though it's a very small detail. Painting the pilot adds a lot of character to the model. It feels like the final step that really completes the build. Amuro Ray is such an important character in the Gundam story, and giving him a bit of exhortation felt like the right way to end this build. Overall, the Real Grade Nu Gundam is an excellent kit. It looks amazing, fun to build, and despite a few issues like the fin funnels, it's absolutely worth it. If you are a fan of Gundam, or especially of Char's Counterattack, this is a kit I can easily recommend. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into both the model and Mobile Suit itself.